Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of the One of One Card Show. My name is Luke, and I am your host. And in this week's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the card winners, as well as some news from the WrestleMania 41 weekend. So, before we get started, I just want to make sure that you like and subscribe to the One of One Cards YouTube channel right here, as well as the One of One Cards Instagram channel as well. So, let's get started. Uh, Very first thing that they came out over the weekend was the 2025 Topps Chrome WWE Cactus Jack WrestleMania card set. It's a collaboration between WWE, Topps, and Travis Scott. So this set includes 100 base cards, 25 base card autograph variations, and 2025 Cactus Jack Champion inserts. Uh, you can see that there's a bunch of parallels as well for the base cards, the autographs, as well as the Cactus Champion inserts. If you were to buy a box, you'd get 2 packs of 4 cards per box with 1 refractor ray wave parallel guaranteed per pack. So let's take a look at this set of cards. Few other things we want to make sure we're aware is that this set of cards includes Penta's first Topps WWE card. It also includes the first WWE autographs of Stephanie Vaquer and Zaria. It also includes Travis Scott, hence a major part of WrestleMania 41 weekend, and Julia as well. So these cards were going for $400 on the WWE World event that was going on in Las Vegas, and it was also on some websites as well, such as Travis Scott's website. But even though these cards were going for about $400, they were being sold for around $1,000. Some a little bit over, some a little bit under, as we could see from recent sales. Let's take a look at the design. I will tell you that this is a design that I personally am not a fan of at all. It has a very 90s hardcore, very grunge look with a lack of color to them. They're very desaturated, the pictures of the wrestlers. There's like chains. It looks very leathery. There's bolts and everything. It's almost like, the hardcore belt almost behind each wrestler. The Ray Wave refractors. Again, I'm just not a fan of these cards. The only card that I really like, as you can see over here, is the Cactus Jack insert in the Superfractor. I think does look good because it's the gold Superfractor that does stand out. But overall, these things are just not stand out to me, especially for what the price and what they're going for. So let's take a look at a couple other things when it comes to the sales. You can see they're going for big bucks. If you're selling the cards for $400 for, 8 cards and they're being resold for almost $1,000, you can see the Travis Scott card over there for going for about $200 or best offer. Again, it's just a very desaturated look. I don't necessarily dislike a sepia toned card or a black and white colored card, but it's just not something that stands out to me at all, especially for what they're going for. Again, look at the gold Jacob Fatu. I mean, Jacob Fatu, unbelievable wrestler, just not standing out to me. It sold best offer price going for $500. Best offer, we don't know exactly what it will sell for. And again, a Hogan out of 25 in orange going for $500 as well. Best offer. Again, these just does the pictures just don't stand out to me. The Ray Wave, it just doesn't do much for me. Not a huge fan at all. And again, here's another image of them. They just, it's very lackluster. And yet, if you go on social media, you go onto eBay, these cards are very, very popular. I know I am in the minority when I say that I'm not a fan of them. And again, if you like them, if you think that this particular design stands out to you, obviously you are more than happy to have that opinion, but I'll have mine. And I just don't think they're that appealing. But in the long run, they might hold to have some semblance of value because they are Travis Scott is very popular, and these limited edition sort of sets can have some value to them. All right, let's take a look at next news. Tops announced, and shouldn't be that big of a surprise considering they're doing this in other sports as well, including MLB as well as MLS to start. Tops announced that there was a WrestleMania patch that every single wrestler was going to be wearing on some part of their ring gear over the course of WrestleMania, their match. So, except for John Cena, who had it on his rag that he had with him. But all the wrestlers were wearing these, and these are going to be turned into a one of one card down the line. Well, yeah, John Cena had on his towel. And in addition to that, Raw and SmackDown debut patches are going to be happening as well. So wrestlers, when they're making their Raw or SmackDown debut, they will be having a one of one patch moving forward. So again, that's something to be looking forward to, when it comes to this. Big, big news. Now, we can see Jey Uso. He had it on his ring gear. He had it on the back of his ring gear. Again, that's a pretty awesome idea if you want to convert, this into a one of one patch. Definitely going to be something that's sought after. So let's make a comparison. I said earlier that this was something that they have with MLB and MLS. Um, for lesser known Major League Baseball stars, this is the pro debut patch. I would say it's very similar. They're going for four figures for the pro debut. So I would assume that the WrestleMania patch, now granted, if it's like a Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins, they're going to be having multiple WrestleMania matches moving forward. Or, you're the rookie wrestler making your debut onto Raw or SmackDown. You have to assume these are four-figure cards or more, especially if it's a WrestleMania match that maybe has some enormous stakes to them. The WrestleMania match that John Cena's last WrestleMania match, with it being on his towel, him walking down to the to the ring with it. This could be a five-figure card depending upon who it is and what's happening in that event, and who the debut is for that wrestler. Um, we can also see over here that the Paul Skeens that made major rounds, especially for a pitcher rookie card, going for $1.11 million. Granted, it was sold to Dick's Sporting Goods, and they're going to have it on display in Pittsburgh. But we can see that these sort of patch cards that Topps is introducing into the sports card hobby, they are something that people are definitely wanting to go after. So again, I think that the WWE patch cards for the WrestleMania cards, as well as the Raw and SmackDown debut, those might become one of the most sought after cards in all of the wrestling card hobby. Now, now that we've gone over most of the big news over the wrestling weekend for WrestleMania, let's take a look at the winners at WrestleMania 41 when it comes to their card prices. So here are the rules. We're going to take a look, in my opinion, the five big winners in night one, five big winners in night two, and which WWE superstars gained the most from what happened at each WrestleMania night. And we're going to look at a couple awesome, now again, awesome in my opinion, high end and lower price cards from each wrestler. And the way that I view that, high end, I'm going to justify and say that's high end is over $100. Now, again, we have some very high end of four figures and stuff, but lower end as well of under $100. So let's begin with night one. Winner number five is Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton retained the Women's World Championship, and we see over here Tiffany Stratton. I personally did not enjoy the match between Tiffany and Charlotte Flair all that much, but it was pretty significant of her walking into WrestleMania, retaining that Women's World title, a World Championship. And as a result, it's something that she's going to obviously continue her reign. So we see two of her more high-end cards being flawless one of ones. We see the diamond logo gem card selling for, best offer of about $8,000, probably a little bit less. But we also see a flawless logo auto patch platinum one of one selling for $7,499 a couple months ago. Again, Tiffany Stratton cards are on fire at the moment, and I would foresee them continuing to be heading in that direction. We see on the lower end of things. Again, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get some nice cards, as we see. Tiffany Stratton Orange Refractor from 2025 Topps Chrome out of 25, selling for $61 and some change. And a base card rookie 2022 Prism in a PSA 10 selling for $35. Again, to get a card graded is almost 20 bucks. So a PSA 10 and a Tiffany Stratton, again, granted it is a base card and they made a bajillion of base cards there, $35. Not bad. Now, coming in number four, we said, or at least I know I said in my WrestleMania predictions that Jacob Fatu is going to have the rocket strapped to him. His cards obviously are going to see a dramatic bump. We see an out of five blue brand red geometric refractor auto out of five selling for $750. Some of these I could find what they sold for after the best offer. Some I wasn't able to and a one of one superfractor in the Allen and Ginter from 2025 Topps Chrome, selling for $860. Now, again, Jacob Fatu is on fire right now as he defeated LA Knight. And if you want to go a little bit smaller into things, a blue out of 150 from 2025 Topps Chrome, $12.50. It's not bad. It's a great card. He looks like he's ready to say, I love you solo right there. Again, great card. Love that design in terms of how it looks with the blue. I get, the design's fine, but again, it's a nice card for that price, I would say, especially Jacob's first WWE card in Topps Chrome. Now, coming in number three, he had to do it. We said before, Jey Uso having his main event, World Heavy Yeet or World Heavyweight title match at WrestleMania Night 1. It was a big win for Jey Uso to defeat Gunther. He's had some big card sales as of late. We could see out of 10 black refractor auto going for $436. We see a one of one from National Treasures Panini 2024. The timeline materials going for $399. Again, those are high-end sales, but again, out of 10 black refractor of a new world heavyweight champion. Again, that's some high prices, but again, he's world champion right now. Next up, we see on the lower end of things. Again, you could get a PSA 10 a gold prism out of 10 from Panini Select 2024, a turbocharged insert, $93. Not that bad when you think about it. I don't mind the design of that insert. I think it looks pretty cool depending upon who it is. It might not necessarily be the best Jey Uso insert that we've seen, but $93 for a gold out of 10 is straight gold. That's very nice. And then over here, you might not know, maybe you're not following it, but silver. Silver's been going for big bucks, and we have an out of 35 Jey Uso 2023 impeccable silver bar card with 1 ounce of silver in it. We said before, those are thick, thick cards going for $72. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now let's move on to number two. Number two, we got Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman in the WWE card hobby, I would say, is extremely underrated, undervalued. You think about Paul Heyman and the whole history of WWE, the whole history of professional wrestling. He's one of the most significant figures of the last 30, 40 years. And yet his card prices, obviously high end over here. You can see it National Treasures. I don't like it with a sticker auto, I'm not going to lie, out of five. Dual auto with CM Punk going for $865. Then you see the 2022 Panini Select Gold ringside in a CSG 10 uh, going for 650 best offer. Those are some high-end Paul Heyman cards. But if you want to go like a little bit notch below, Paul Heyman, who served as manager of Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Now it looks like he's the Wiseman for Seth Rollins and more. You could get an out of five 2024 Prism ringside in green for $30, basically. You can get an out of 10 in gold undercard. Again, I know the undercard is not the same as the pure gold Prism in 2024 Prism, but you can get it for $21. If you like Paul Heyman, if you are somebody who thinks that Paul Heyman is, the greatest manager of all time, those are really good prices, I would say. I know he's not a wrestler, but those are really good prices if you factor in him in the creativity, ECW, all that stuff. Unbelievable price for Paul Heyman. And coming in at number one, he was also majorly involved in the triple threat match. By the way, isn't it unbelievable that the main event of night one was basically who gets Paul Heyman? And the winner of that match was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has some unbelievable cards. Seth Rollins is somebody who is heavily undervalued in the WWE card hobby. If you compare him to like a Roman Reigns or someone else, if Roman Reigns is like Hulk Hogan, I would say that Seth Rollins is basically like the Macho Man. I know it's not a direct comparison, but he basically is. Uh, Seth Rollins cards are so undervalued. Now, again, I'm not going to be forking over $2,000 for the Panini Select throwback of him, which is what it's sold for. But you see a one of one, the Diamond Flawless one of one card going for $1,500 for Roman Reigns. It's an unbelievable looking card in the Platinum one of one. Unbelievable looking. But if you want to go just a little bit notch below, you want to get something under $100, you can get some unbelievable looking Seth Rollins cards. The winner of the WrestleMania Night 1 main event against both CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman chose Seth Rollins over both of them. Let's take a look. You get an out of 15 flawless SummerSlam autograph auto of Seth Rollins for $72 out of 15. You can get a 2022 Gold Select, pure Gold Select Seth Rollins recently sold for $69. $69 for, look at that card. Look at that crazy, ridiculous jacket that Seth Rollins is wearing. And on top of that, with the gold border, that's a wonderful deal if you are a collector of cards and you want like a nice Seth Rollins card. I know it's not the, $1,500 card. That's a wonderful card right there of Seth Rollins and what I hold as the greatest design of the Panini era, which we might have to look at that at a later point in time down the line. But unbelievable card. Now, moving on to night number two. How could you not have a list and not include Joe Hendry? Ooh, I just spelled the name wrong. I can see over here. I spelled it. Yeah, Joe Jendry. No, Joe Hendry coming in at number five. Joe Hendry at number five. He doesn't have whole lot of cards. So you can see over here, 2024. It's a PWJ Pro Wrestling Junkie Series 3 card in a CGC 9 going for $125. Not a bad looking card, but $125. I mean, when it's probably a card that's not produced at the large degree of a Panini or Topps card, $125 might make sense. If you want to go a little bit lower end, Joe Hendry has a Major Bendy's card. Shout out to the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. A Major Bendy's card, Joe Hendry does, not Joe Gendry, we said before. That's my typo right there. Joe Hendry has a $10.50 card. Again, it's a nice looking card over there. And let's also give a shout out to just the unbelievable angle and the unbelievable way in which Joe Hendry took the RKO to Randy Orton in that match. And in addition to that, the way in which WWE filmed that. You could not make that any better. That was 10 out of 10 right there. Now, moving on to number four of night number two. We got Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has been gone from WWE for almost a year, and she returned in a tag match with Lyra Valkyria to defeat Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Now, I know some people were saying, oh, it's Becky Hogan. In my opinion, it's going to obviously, if you've been following Monday Night Raw, probably going to end up being a feud in which she might actually lose to Lyra Valkyria. Might be a way to try to put her over. We talked about it before. Lyra Valkyria needs a little bit of oomph when it comes to character, and maybe what better way to bring out a good or strong character from Lyra than have a strong character like Becky try to put her over. Maybe that happens. We'll see. But some high-end cards of Becky Lynch. We have the Kaboom. I've talked about the Kaboom before. It's probably the most impactful insert from the Panini era of WWE, selling for $999. Almost $1,000 for the Kabooms. Again, people are buying up the Kabooms left and right. That's a card that people are going to be wanting in just about every wrestler. And then in addition to that, the Global Icons Black One of One selling for, about $900 right there. Best offer. Then a PSA 8. Again, two good cards from Becky Lynch. But let's take a look at some lower end cards of Becky Lynch that we might consider going after for recent sales. A gold out of 10, the memorabilia from Flawless. It's a great card. It's an interesting outfit that she's wearing from her ring gear from WrestleMania 40, but going for $52. For $52, it's a nice price. And if we want to go back to the steampunk era version of Becky Lynch, get an auto out of 25 from the Topps Road to WrestleMania from 2016, going for $41. Again, you get a very early Becky Lynch card going for $41 out of 25. That's a nice card too. Great photo, great autograph. Becky doesn't sign like that anymore. Misses those stars on the side. So you can get some great Becky cards for under, basically $50. Now, going on to number three rather. We got Dirty Dom. Dominic Mysterio, somebody who people initially love to hate. The WrestleMania crowd, and I know the WrestleMania crowds and the night after WrestleMania, they might be a little bit different than what you normally expect from WWE, but he's somebody who people are starting to appreciate and enjoy just a little bit more. And I mean, that's very, very fascinating, I will say. People hated Dominic Mysterio, thought he was not worthwhile, joins the Judgment Day. He basically couldn't even speak on the microphone, yet here he is now getting a tremendous amount of cheers. People are starting to turn around on Dominic Mysterio. So some of his cards are starting to go for good amounts. His 2020 Tops Now rookie auto out of 2025 and a PSA 10 going for $550. Best offer. In addition to that, a National Treasures 2024 Dominic Mysterio with the WWE logo patch on it, the treasured threads, one of one, $400. Those are some nice looking cards right there, going for that price. And again, maybe Dominic Mysterio is not a world champion. Maybe he will be down the line. Who knows? But current Intercontinental Champion defeated Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and Penta to win it. So let's take a look. Notch down below. What are some interesting Dominic Mysterio cards selling for less than $100? You get a black refractor out of 10 from 2025 Chrome. $46 out of 10. And in addition to that, you have a graded. This is a graded card. Again, graded cards about 20-ish dollars to grade at the bare minimum. You can get some deals for less, but then once you send it, you have to get it shipped and everything. $22 for an out of 2025 out of 25 hollow silver in Dominic Mysterio from Impeccable 2023. That's unbelievable. Again, people, and I know it's a PSA 9 and people don't like that, but that's a thick card to begin with. So that's not necessarily the worst grade to have. But if you want a good Dominic Mysterio card, those are two good cards under $50 that we have right there. Now, coming in at number two was a little bit of a shock for me. I did not pick her to win, but we got Io Sky. Io Sky retaining the Women's World Championship against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match. Now, I will say I was shocked that not only did Io Sky win, but she pinned Bianca Belair as well. Bianca Belair was 4-0 at WrestleMania on the main card, and yet she took the pin. She has the diamond card from Flawless. Diamonds cards from Flawless, the Raw logo, $2,500 sold recently. And in addition to that, back in March, she had a one of one base superfractor selling for $860. So Io Sky certainly has a tremendous level of popularity within the card hobby. But if you want, again, take it down just a little bit. You don't want to be spending $2,500 for a card that has 12 diamonds in it. You can get some other good cards for less. $53. for a gold refractor auto from 2025 Chrome. You can also get an out of 25 National Treasures Colossal Materials matte relic over there for 20 bucks. So again, if you want to become an EO Sky collector, maybe you don't want to be spending the big bucks, you can get some really nice cards, autos. You can get patches for cheap prices. Now, we've gone over lots of people from night one. We've gone over lots of people from night two. Let's take a look at who the obvious winner from night two is coming in at number one, and that would be John Cena. John Cena, who won against Cody Rhodes to win the undisputed WWE Championship for the record 17th time. You could see his flawless 2024 Star Swatch Patch Auto Platinum 1 of 1 signature card going for $7,100 a couple months ago. You could see his 2022 Panini Prism fresh off the line or first off the line gold shimmer prism, 3 out of 3. I'm personally not a huge fan of the gold shimmers, to be honest, but again, out of three, selling for $910 back in March. Those are some high-end cards of John Cena, but let's take it a little bit lower. You could get an Optic Gold out of 10 from Chronicles 2023. That's an unbelievable card. Everybody loves Optic. Selling for $125, or about $100 roughly. In addition to that, we see Cena 2024 Select going for ringside out of 25, going for $26. By the way, that 125, don't look at that. That was a typo on my end. Oh, we'll do that. But we see over here out of 25 going for $26. That's an unbelievable design. The tie-dyes always look good. And it's kind of a later Cena card as well. Uh, now, now that we've gone over this, we've gone over the top five from night one, we've gone over the top five from night two. There's also one other name from WrestleMania weekend, if we were to stretch it out just a little bit. Obviously, he didn't win night two, and he did not retain his Intercontinental Championship. But we cannot dismiss that Braun Breaker is definitely a winner in these coming weeks and months. Braun Breaker. If you want to get in Braun Breaker, obviously there are some major Braun Breaker collectors, some super collectors out there. People have spent some big cash on him so far. There's not a lot of 1 of 1s out there that people don't have is stashed away. But you can get a 1 out of 8 acetate autograph from Immaculate 2022, a rookie card of him, almost $400. Again, if you think that Braun Breaker is a future main eventer of WrestleMania, which it wouldn't shock me if one day we see a Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu main event for one of the world titles. Again, $400 for a rookie auto out of 8 that looks good. It's got a patch in there as well. Not a bad price. You even want to take it a notch lower to go out of 10 in 2023 impeccable. Gold card out of 10, $29. That's not a bad price at all for an out of 10 Braun Breaker. So again, there's a lot of cards out there. Obviously, there's, a lot of cards out there. You don't always have to be going for the, super expensive cards if you just want to get some really nice cards to have on display there. So I want to thank all of you for watching. You want to make sure that you like and subscribe once again to the 1 of 1 Cards YouTube channel and Instagram channels. Be sure to check it out. Hope you enjoyed WrestleMania like I did. I thought WrestleMania as a whole had some really good matches. I felt like there may have been some storyline question marks that were also there as to why some people might not have shown up, such as The Rock. But instead, we did get Travis Scott instead. I don't really understand that fully. I thought everybody would have seen Travis Scott, then The Rock, but we just got Travis Scott. Uh, so, hope everybody enjoyed this episode. See you next week. Have a great day.